All right, let's get to the first article. So there is a information out that Trump may get rid of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac being part of the government's possession, right? So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac used to be private, right? And so there's talk about taking this and making it private again. So big changes could be coming for the mortgage market, and they could hit closer to home than you think. President Trump is revisiting efforts to privatize Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, two mortgage giants that currently back 70% of the U.S. home loans. While privatization could transform base companies, the potential cost to borrowers is significant. Experts like economist Mark Zandi warn it could increase annual mortgage costs from $1,800 to $2,800 for typical homeowners, with lower income families feeling the pinch the most. But why does this matter? Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac don't issue loans themselves. Instead, they buy mortgages from other lenders, package them into securities, and then sold to investors. This keeps the mortgage market steady and ensures affordable loan rates. Privatization could disrupt this system, making mortgage riskier for investors and more expensive to you. With mortgage rates already hovering around 7%, home affordability under pressure, this move could add fuel to the fire. As experts pull it, the stakes are very, as they put it, stakes are very, very high. Could a compromise like charging a fee for government guarantees strike the balance between privatization and stability? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear, the housing market could face some big changes with this in the future. How do you think privatizing this would affect the housing market? And that's what we're going to go over here. Overall, what do you think, Kevin, about this potential? I mean, they tried to do it back in 2020 or before 2020. So what's your overall thoughts on this now?
Well, I mean, I've had lots of thoughts over the years on privatizing a lot of different industries. I think healthcare was one of those that could have made a lot of sense, you know, in the way that it was before, with more government-centric, you know, healthcare control. I don't like it. I don't think it provided the response that people were going to expect in terms of coverage and cost. In fact, costs just went up drastically after that, and for some reason, really stuck with that. So that's, you know, there's parts of it that I don't understand the benefits of, and therefore I probably couldn't speak on very well. But what I can say is that when the government has full control over something that is generally managed by private entities anyway, I think it just blurs the lines in a way that is very confusing. So I understand why they do it. You know, having the government-backed Fannie and Freddie Mac mortgages helps control the market a little bit more, and, you know, just so that if you privatize it, they would have control over something that has a major impact on our entire economy. So the challenge would be, if it does get privatized out of government hands, how do you keep that in check without them just pursuing the almighty dollar? And I think that's the big question. I have other thoughts on that, but what do you think?
I mean, look, before 2008, it wasn't private, right? It was part of, you know, it was its own thing. Look, there's a lot of investors that are happy about this. Obviously, some investors close to Trump are happy about this potentially happening. I don't think it's going to end up happening. I think there's so many other things that are a bigger worry right now that I don't think that this is something that's just going to happen. You know, and the other thing too is right now we all hear like, okay, this is going to happen, and everybody gets so just up in arms over any news that comes out of the Trump camp right now. So number one, I don't necessarily think this is going to be a priority as of right now. It could change things, but look, if they did do it, there are some pros and cons. I think the pros are that, you know, it could create different loan types, because the thing is right now, when the things have to be formed into Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, you have to fit these loan limits. So they could change the loan limits. So it could open it up to other people that maybe couldn't get approved right now.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when it's backed by the government, then, you know, you have to fall in line. So, I mean, I think there's pros and cons. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to stay where it is for now. I don't think that there's a big need, especially with the housing market where it is right now. That's
I mean, I think that if you're looking to change the way that the housing market, you know, is right now in terms of like getting a better response from people in terms of pricing and availability and all that, mortgage rates coming down. I think that there are other levers that can be pulled that are way more important than, you know, something like privatizing Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac right now. The things I could think of, the majority of the things I can think of would be, you know, keeping conglomerate investors out of the market for a while, limiting the percentage of investment that they can make in private housing to let the housing prices come down so that people can afford to buy houses again. I think that's the key. Like during 2021, I think what was it in some markets? I don't know if it's overall in the U.S. I'm probably misquoting the stat, but I know in some of the major housing markets that investment sales, so like BlackRock and other major funds, was like 30% of the entire sales. So if you think about it, if a third of the sales are going to an investment, that's just unnaturally driving the price up for the housing. So, you know, hey, I'd love to have my investors know that the price of the home that they bought previously is going to increase over years. But the reality is it has to be sustainable. I'd rather have sustainable growth of an investment than these huge spikes in volatility and coming back down again and not knowing where it is, because it doesn't do any good. It doesn't do us any good as real estate agents and brokers, and it doesn't do the investors any good. It doesn't do the homeowners any good, and it doesn't do home buyers any good. So anything that we can do to approach stability right now, I think, is the thing that needs to happen.
Yeah, I just don't think that there's enough, you know, I think there's more pressing things to worry about right now than taking this from the government and putting it back private. I think there's pros and cons either way. I just don't think it's something that's going to happen. If anything, it'll probably happen 2 years from now. I mean, look, we're about to go over the 2025, 2026 markets. So let's say things change over the next 2 years. Is it something that can be done in the next 4 years, or might be done in the next 4 years? Yes. I don't think it's something that's going to happen in 25. I don't think it's going to be something in 26, maybe 27, late 28, something like that. But I think that we need more stabilization in before we actually see that. So thanks for watching this short of the Real Migos podcast. Hey, if you want to see more videos from Real Migos, click here. If you want to watch my main channel, Jeremy Knight, Moving Austin Realtor, right here. We'll see you on the next Real Migos every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Central.